Good day to you all. If you would please put your palms together for a meditation reading. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding all sentient beings, I will work towards the welfare of society and the world. Excerpt of Shin Buddha's Life Principles from the Shin Buddhist Service Book. If you would please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Former host of the TV series Dirty Jobs, and now a podcaster, Mike Rowe, analyzed the phrase that we keep hearing. We are all in this together, like a large boat on rough seas. However, he looked at the phrase in another way. He took the phrase to say, we are all in small boats on the same rough sea. We are all faced with the same predicament. These small boats could be characterized as our homes, place of dwelling, our abode, or whatever you call your living space. These places can be considered small boats, yachts, or sailboats. However we call them, they keep us safe from the rough seas and isolated from family and friends. We have been sailing this rough sea of COVID-19 for several months, and as of now, no vaccine has been produced. Some places have seen an increase of people infected, while other places a decrease. This rough sea has changed us in many ways. Normally, we're courteous and kind, but this isolation has brought out that other side of our personality, and that may be who we truly are. It is probably a surprise to the person we live with. Our tempers flare more quickly. We snap at those we share our home with. We feel as though our small boat is getting smaller and more confining. We want out to return to what we call normal conditions. However, we cannot return to our normal conditions, for our environment has been turned upside down. We must take precautions of touching what we hear, how we see things, pay attention to smell, and become more aware of our taste buds. For our senses can be influenced by the virus in our mind. This virus has created an attack on our senses and well-being. Yes, the virus is all we hear about and see on the news. Yet we do not have to allow the news to play havoc on our minds. We are strong. All we must do is stop and think. There is so much going on outside our boats, and we are either becoming more angry or frightened. But it is our brain that can change our thoughts and behavior. We must get back to thinking clearly and with clarity. We must also stop and ask ourselves, can I change? How do I change? Or do I want to change? I am told all the time, I'm too old to change. But unless we try, how do we know if we can. So many people are afraid of change, yet change can give us a different perspective and transform our old self. The protests of the 60s for civil rights helped change many people's thinking. It took self-thinking, listening, and understanding. Slowly but eventually, change happened. It is this rough sea that people have stopped thinking, listening, and understanding. They have fallen back into the me phase once again. But it has always been Namu Amida Butsu in the past, and more so in the here and now. Our Namu Amida Butsu is our gratitude and thankfulness for giving us the freedom to think, to choose, and to receive guidance and direction. Even though we may steer in a different direction and navigate our boats away from our destination, we use charts to map us back to our direction. And that is our Nembutsu, the Buddha Dharma, and our entrusting that will steer us in the direction we want to go. We continue to live in our boats and float in this rough sea. We may get seasick from the back and forth rocking, yet we still keep our strength and wits about us. We remember what it is to be kind and gentle to every living thing and to protect those who are weaker than ourselves. We can say a kind and gentle word and to think pure and beautiful thoughts, and to continue with our kind and beautiful deeds. We live through our actions. Shinran Shonin lived his life with the ability to recover from adversities of his time. This made him strong, and his entrusting became deeper. Shinran Shonin's strength and wisdom always guided us. His strength came from knowing that Amida Buddha is always with us, never abandoning us in our time of need. We must face the fact that our lives are not the same anymore. Yet we must resume to live in the here and now. We continue to take the required precautions and to think. Reverend Earl Ikeda of New York Buddhist Church stated in the Will of Dharma this month that positivity lets in the light that brings hope, and our minds become clearer and better able to explore different means of perception and connections. We can now begin to enter the vast ocean of Dharma. Scientists and researchers are working day in and day out to develop a vaccine. We sail in our boats, riding the sometimes turbulent sea with positivity. We continue with our Nembutsu for stability and for keeping us positive that soon this rough sea will recede. We can be assured that Namu Amida Butsu is always heard and soothes our fears. We open our minds, look for smooth sailing, and think. Be safe and stay healthy. Our boats will eventually find smooth sailing. It will take patience, thought, and the wisdom of Namu Amida Butsu. If you would please join your palms together in Gasho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda.